Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Vienna Masterclass, one of the many sessions taking place on our Facebook page for the TTG Digital Destinations Festival in association with WTM London. So far this week, we've had destination training from Queensland, Australia, Brand USA, Costa Rica, South Australia, Gran Canaria, and today, as I said, we're going to be focusing on Vienna. So I'm Maddie Barber, Special Projects Editor at TTG, and I'm joined today by Tom Backinger from the Vienna Tourist Board. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, it did. Hi, Maddie. Hi.
So today we're going to be giving you a masterclass on Vienna. We're going to be focusing on what the situation is in the city right now in terms of the pandemic restrictions and what the local community's response has been to the pandemic. We're going to be looking at what activities will be available for visitors once leisure travel starts up again. And of course, in the meantime, how you and your clients can experience Vienna virtually. If you have any questions throughout the session, you can type them in the comments section of this Facebook live stream, and we'll do our best to answer them while live. And if it's too late, then we will answer them afterwards. So Tom, my first question is, what is it like in Vienna right now? Are restrictions still in place, or are they starting to be lifted like they are in the UK?
Well, first of all, thanks for the cooperation. Happy to be here and talk about Vienna. Well, actually, the restrictions are lifted already. So since 2 weeks now, people can go out again, and they're not forced, so to say, to stay at home. The shops are open, no matter if it's small shops or big shops. And also, we are very happy that as of tomorrow, May 15th, the restaurants and gastronomy will be opening again. And also several museums, or in general, museums are allowed to open also as of tomorrow, May the 15th. Then as of May the 29th, the hotels and accommodation providers are allowed to open. So yeah, basically there are social distancing rules and regulations in place, and sanitary rules and regulations and all that. But yeah, life goes back to normal, so to say.
Okay. And what are the social distancing rules in like restaurants and the museums that you mentioned?
So in the restaurants, for example, you have to make a reservation before going there, so they don't really take walk-in clients. And then there is no bar service, so everybody has to have a table. You are only allowed at a maximum of 4 people on a table, with children if there are any. And in between the tables, there have to be a meter of distance. The waiting staff has to wear face masks or face shields. And also the guests, when they enter the restaurant, there is a host that takes them to the table, and they also have to wear masks when coming in or when going to the restrooms, for example. But then at the table itself, they are not, they don't need to wear the mask. And restaurants are only opened from 6 in the morning until 11 at night. And yeah, as I said, you have to do, or you should do, a reservation. In terms of the museums, it was announced this week that in the museum, for one person, there should be an area of 10 square meters. So this means if a museum has a space or a surface of about 5,000 square meters, then they are allowed to have 500 people inside.
Okay, great. And does Austria have a quarantine rule in place for international arrivals?
Yes, we do. So there is a 2 weeks quarantine when you travel to Austria. But at Vienna International Airport, since last week, they are offering corona tests directly at the airport when you arrive. And it takes about 2 to 3 hours until you get your result. So if it's negative, then you're obviously allowed to travel on. And this is also what a lot of people are now doing, and yeah, when they arrive at the airport, they take this test. I think it's 190 euros, and then if it's negative, you're allowed to travel on in Austria.
All right, it's great that Austria is able to test at the border. It's really good.
Yeah, that's right.
And do you think the pandemic will have changed the way people travel to and around Vienna once they're in?
Yeah, I mean, I would not only focus on Vienna or Austria. I think it's general that the travel habits will be changing worldwide, you know, so a lot of people are definitely focusing more on security and health, hygiene, sanitary rules and regulations. But also we as the city of Vienna also now, yeah, taking care of those. And we are also in constant touch with our local tourist partners like museums, other attractions, hotels, restaurants, to help them, to educate them about the sanitary measures. And also we are there to collect all the different rules and regulations that have to be in place so that they can just go on our website and then they find everything. And we're also trying to get best practice examples from other destinations or other countries, especially in terms of hygiene or sanitary rules and regulations.
Okay, great. And how is the local community responding to the coronavirus crisis? I think you have a couple of stories to tell us.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I would I would say that in general, the local community or in Austria in general responded very well to all the rules and regulations. So, I mean, I don't want to talk about numbers or any negative things, but so far we only had 624 people dying because of Corona in all of Austria. So we are a state of 8 million people. So I guess the local community and the Austrians, they corresponded quite well, or they stick to the rules and regulations that the government implemented, so to say. And that's why we are already in the place or opening up more or less everything in the next weeks, obviously with different security and sanitary and health rules and regulations. But yeah, people get very creative when they're stuck at home, I would say. And also, there are the face masks, nose and face masks. So there are a lot of local designers who started to design the masks. For example, one of them is the great granddaughter of Gustav Klimt, our famous painter. So she's producing the masks out of a fabric that has the typical blue color that his smock had. And all the revenues from the sale of the masks go to the Klimt villa, which used to be his last residence and is now a small and very beautiful museum dedicated to his life. Other than that, Vienna is famous for the old arts, the old masters, the big museums, but we also have a very vibrant street art scene, especially at the Danube Canal in the inner city center. And also in the last weeks, a lot of street art artists painted some murals, some graffiti dedicated to the topic of Corona. And then last but not least, I mean, you can see here, I have my beautiful Vienna snow globe here. So the snow globes were actually invented in Vienna over 100 years ago. And there is a small snow globe museum. And also they corresponded in the way that they are now producing snow globes with a toilet paper inside, so it's a nice souvenir to this time period. And I actually got one. I don't know if you can see that. So there's like this small toilet paper inside, and it's a nice souvenir, I would say. But as I said, people were getting creative, and also a lot of those things can be seen when in Vienna, but also online. So on our website as well, we are collecting all the different initiatives. Obviously, you can order the snow globes, for example, for your clients or for yourself at home. And you can also order the face masks. And
Okay, thanks. And I know the last couple of months has been a really tough time for tourist boards when it comes to marketing. So what is your marketing going to be focusing on in the coming months?
Yeah, so it was quite challenging. So from one day to the other, we more or less had to stop with all our ongoing marketing activities. And well, what we did in the last weeks is that we still kept touch with our like key accounts, the international travel trade, because tourism is a people's industry. So you know a lot of people in person. So you're just dropping them an email, or you are friends with them on Facebook, asking how they have been and how they are coping with the situation, if there is anything that they need from our side. So this is what we've done in the past. And now because Germany announced yesterday that the borders to Austria will be opened as of June the 15th. Also, Switzerland will be opening the borders to Austria in June. So now we are definitely focusing more on our neighboring countries, and also where there is the possibility given that people can travel to Vienna and to Austria. And so this will be the focus for the next month, especially Germany, Switzerland, Czech Republic, Hungary. But then also with, as I said, we will do like a basic, being in touch with the international travel trade, also with our international markets like the USA, which is our most important international market. So we'll send out a few newsletters, letting them know what's going on in Vienna, and that Vienna is opening up, so to say, and we are looking forward to the time when people are coming back to Vienna.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned before the social distancing measures in restaurants and museums. And obviously there are lots of activities and attractions to be seen and to do in Vienna. But once UK travellers are able to return to Vienna, what kind of stuff can they be looking to see and do?
Actually, Vienna is a very green city. Mm-hmm. So this is very good for social distancing. So half of Vienna's area is green space. We have, for example, the Danube Island or the Danube River flowing through Vienna, so to say. And in between, we have the Danube Island, which is a 21 kilometer long island. So this is where you can totally get away from the crowds. For example, last weekend, I also hopped on my bike and I drove along the Danube and the Danube Island. Other than that, we have the Prater, which is on one side the big amusement park in Vienna, but then on the other side, it's a very large green area. It's 5 times larger than Central Park in New York. So also there you have ponds, meadows, bikeways. You can really get away from the crowds there. But also in Vienna itself, in the city center itself, so to say, we have a lot of imperial parks that are opened again. So they were closed in the last weeks, but now they are opened again, where also people can relax and practice social distancing, so to say. So there's enough space, enough area. And in terms of museums or attractions, because there are so many different museums in Vienna or attractions, so you don't necessarily need to go to the big museums. You can also go to one of the smaller museums that you might not have thought of. And for example, as I mentioned, the Snow Globe Museum, so a lot of people don't know the Snow Globe Museum in Vienna. And this is also now that locals will be doing a lot, I guess. So they will check out the museums that are actually outside of their doorstep, which they would never do, throughout the years, so to say. And so there is definitely space for social distancing.
Okay, great. And I know many tourist boards are offering virtual fam trips at the moment, so agents can still learn about and experience the destinations from home. Does Vienna have anything similar to that?
Yeah, well, we don't have any virtual fam trips right now, but we are working on a concept to do that. But actually, different museums and other attractions do have either virtual tours on offer or also live tours. For example, the Belvedere Palace which is the museum where you can find Gustav Klimt's famous painting, The Kiss. They provide every day a live tour at 3 p.m., which is 2 p.m. In UK time. But then also the Museum of Natural History, they are offering virtual tours. You can go or you can see the Imperial Crypt, which is where most of the Habsburg family are buried, so to say. So you can do a virtual tour there. And so there is different museums and attractions that really quite fast, adapted to the current situation and made their offer available online or digital, so to say.
Okay, thanks. And we've just had a question here from Jay Middleton, who's asking the name of the very large park that's 5 times the size of Central Park.
So it's called Prater, which is Prater. And this is the one. There is the amusement park with the giant Ferris wheel that you can see here in the snow globe. And then there is the green Prater, which is, so to say, the green area. And this area used to be hunting grounds of the Habsburg family over 250 years ago. And 200 years ago, it was opened up to the general public. And right now, as I said, it's the huge area. There are bike paths, there are ponds, there are meadows, there are sporting facilities, there's a horse riding track, there's a big stadium, and so it's a huge area.
Cool, thanks. So coming back to virtual Vienna, are any tourist attractions in the city doing live streams? And if so, how can agents tune in to see them?
Yeah, so we have 4 opera houses in Vienna, and for example, the Vienna State Opera, they have a live stream channel where you can sign up, and then you can choose from different operas or ballets in the past, but also the Volks Opera, that's the second opera house in Vienna. They also offer live streams. Also the Concert House and the Musikverein, our famous 2 concert halls in Vienna, they offer live streams of orchestras, concerts in the past. So this is definitely available. We also collected a playlist of Vienna songs that is available on Spotify. So if you look for Viennese inspired music or music dedicated to Vienna, so to say, you can search for the playlist Sounds Like Vienna on Spotify, and there you get different songs about Vienna. Actually, over 3,000 songs were written about Vienna in the past years. So and also where you can access that is on our website, vienna.info. We are collecting all those initiatives, all those live streams, all those virtual tours. So you have a great overview on that website. And that brings me to the topic of music. So as you might know, Maddie, Vienna is very famous for music, especially classical music. Each night we have the possibility that about 10,000 people are listening to live classical music in Vienna. So we have the opera houses, we have concert halls, we have other venues. And each year, we as the tourist office, we try to focus on a topic that we promote Vienna with, so to say. And this year, 2020, it's again the topic of music. So we want to celebrate everybody who is involved in music in Vienna. This already starts with the 2 big music universities that we have in Vienna. So a lot of students are coming to Vienna to study music, to be educated in music. Then we have all those different orchestras. We have so many instrument makers in Vienna. So I know in February, we visited a lady and she's building violins, which was very interesting. It's like a whole own science and an own university study, so to say, to build a violin, and then so we want to celebrate all those people involved in music. And one big reason for that is that Ludwig van Beethoven would have turned 250 years this year in 2020. So Beethoven, although he was from Germany, he moved to Vienna when he was 23 years old, and he made Vienna his home. So that's why we call him, he's a Viennese by choice. And so are many people nowadays that come to Vienna and work in the music industry or learn music, learn instruments and all that. So yeah, the plan was to have a lot of Beethoven concerts going on, you know. But still, we have our dedicated website to that anniversary, music2020.vienna.info, where agents can get more information, but also end clients, information about music and Beethoven and music in Vienna in general.
Great, thanks. I love the idea of the Vienna Spotify playlist. I'll have to go and check that out.
Yeah, definitely. It's very nice.
And obviously at the moment, people have never had more time to indulge in film and TV as well as music. Is Vienna featuring in anything on the big or the little screen right now?
Yeah, well, actually right now it's on the little screen. So since the mid of March, there is the first Viennese or even Austrian Netflix series online on Netflix, so to say. It's called Freud. So dedicated to Sigmund Freud, our famous psychologist, so to say. And one thing is we're also celebrating 120 years of his book about dream interpretation, which was, when he started to work in his field of psychoanalysis. And so the Freud on Netflix is an 8-episode series. It's a little bit of a mystery thriller series about, there's a murder to solve and all that. So I'm not sure if Freud did that when he was alive, but no, it's definitely worth seeing it. And then on the big screen, people might know the movie Before Sunrise with Ethan Hawke, or also Tom Cruise jumped from the Vienna State Opera a few years ago in Mission Impossible 5, which was filmed in Vienna. Then we have Helen Mirren, who starred in Woman in Gold, which is about Gustav Klimt's paintings and was mainly filmed at the Belvedere Palace in Vienna. And also Jennifer Lawrence was standing in front of our Imperial Palace and at the Hotel Imperial in her movie Red Sparrow. So there are also a lot of options about movies that were done in Vienna, dedicated to Vienna. And there is also a special website on our vienna.info site where all these movies are collected now.
Great, all great films.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, I loved Red Sparrow. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
In particular. Great. So there are obviously lots of people that are wanting to experience, the culinary scene of different destinations from home at the moment. What are their options if they want to experience Vienna's culinary scene from home?
Yeah. So again, everything has to be digital or virtually at the moment, so to say. So also on our website, vienna.info, there's a section about Viennese cuisine, where we collected a few typical recipes that you can cook at home. And also we have a Vienna YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Vienna. And there you find short movies about, how to cook different Viennese dishes, so to say. So Viennese cuisine is very special because it's the only cuisine worldwide that is named after a city. And because it comes from history, there are so many different influences into Viennese cuisine because we are so centrally located in Europe. So many people moved to Vienna in the last centuries. So there are influences from Italian, Bohemian, Hungarian, Balkanic cuisines. And so this is why it's so special. And then, we have Viennese coffee houses on the one side. Then we have all these beautiful and delicious pastries, cakes, torts, and all that. Then we have Viennese fast food, which is our sausage stands on the street, for example. We have Viennese wine. We have beautiful vineyards in Vienna. We have the wine taverns, which is an own culture in itself, so to say. But then we also have very very nice and even Michelin star awarded restaurants in Vienna, providing international and very creative new cuisine, so to say. So yeah, again, on our website and YouTube channel, people can find recipes and videos how to cook a Wiener Schnitzel, for example.
Yeah, God, you're making me hungry. Cool. We've actually just had another question in from Jane Middleton again. She said she missed it at the start. When do you think Vienna will be ready for tourists again?
Our hotels are opening up on May the 29th. And then I guess it also depends on like flight connections. Unfortunately, at the moment, there are not really a lot of flight connections to Vienna. But if you are coming by train or by car or by bus, yeah, depending when the borders are opening up. So as I said, Germany and Switzerland are planning to open the borders to Austria on June the 15th. But yeah, as of end of May, there are accommodation available for guests coming to Vienna. So I guess hopefully in summertime, we will see a little bit of more tourists, especially from the neighboring countries or from Austria itself, coming to Vienna again.
Great, thank you. And we're just about to come to the end of the session now, but is there anything else agents should know about Vienna at the moment?
Well, as I said, you can always get in touch with me. I'm taking care of the British travel trade market. And my email address is thomas.bachinger. So you see my last name here on the Zoom Facebook Live window, so to say. So it's thomas.bachinger@vienna.info. Always feel free to reach out if you need any information. As I said, we are now in the course of collecting all information, which museum is opening up when, which hotel is opening up when. So we will have a huge database with that information. Also, in addition, when people are coming back to Vienna again, Vienna is a very walkable city, and we also encourage people to take public transportation. So that's why we have the Vienna City Card available, which is available in different versions. For example, you can have it for 24, 48, or 72 hours. It comes with different discounts to museums and attractions. You can use all the public transportation, and then you can enhance it with, for example, hop-on, hop-off tours in Vienna, or with airport transfers. So this is something that I recommend to suggest to clients when they are allowed to travel back to Vienna, hopefully quite soon.
Great, thanks. We've actually just had another couple of questions come in from Will Cardale. He's asking, where can we see Klimt's famous painting, Kiss?
So this is located in the Belvedere Palace. There is the Upper Belvedere and the Lower Belvedere. It's one of our 27 palaces that we still have in Vienna. And the Upper Belvedere is where you find Gustav Klimt's painting, The Kiss.
Great, thanks. And he's also asked, are there any plans for the Christmas markets to go ahead this year?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, Vienna is famous for its Christmas markets. Last year we had 25 markets all over Vienna. Unfortunately, not at the moment, so we don't have any decisions yet. As of now, all large events, public events, open air events, are not allowed to take place until end of August, according to our government. So they are now working on rules and regulations for summer events. So hopefully in summertime, July, August, we will know what's going on with later in the year.
Great, thanks. And we've just got time for one last question from Will also. How long does it take to walk around Vienna?
That's a good question. So, I mean, you can walk for the whole day. The good thing about Vienna is that especially the major tourist areas where you see all the major sites and attractions in the center itself is very compact. So each important site is, or attraction is located next to each other. So it's literally like a big open air museum. So you have the State Opera right next to it, the Albertina Palace, then you have the Imperial Palace, and you have the two big museums, Museum of Fine Arts, Natural History, the Parliament, the Town Hall, the University. So everything is actually lined up right next to each other. And then, yeah, basically you can walk around the whole day in Vienna, make a break in one of the beautiful parks. And yeah, so.
Great, thank you. So I think that is all we have time for today. So you can tune into our next masterclass, which is today at 3 o'clock with Abu Dhabi. And you can also check out the TTG Digital Destinations Festival timetable and previous content at ttgmedia.com/destfest. A big thank you to Tom for joining me today for this masterclass, and thanks to everyone that's been watching, and we'll see you soon.